Hi, babes. Welcome back to Tea and Glitter, the podcast. If this is your first time here, we're having a party. It is the 1-year anniversary of Tea and Glitter, the podcast. That's right. Tea and Glitter is a whole year old, a whole year of hanging out with you guys, talking to you on your hot girl walks or when you're driving to work, hanging out with you for a whole year. That's pretty crazy. I think it's crazy. It's super exciting for me. I've wanted to do a podcast forever, and I can't believe I have a whole year of this podcast under my garter belt at this point. So thank you guys so much for being on this journey with me, for listening to me, for caring, for just wanting to hear what I have to say. I love it. Thank you. A whole year of oversharing, crying, talking gay shit. It's been a great year. And I can't wait for the next. But yeah, this is the anniversary episode. And for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Evelina, better known as Ivy of the Les Vixens. I'm a lesbian burlesque performer and producer, a safe space creator, and a huge advocate for queer people and sapphics in particular. Got a big crush on sapphics, and I think we deserve the world. So on this podcast, I spill the tea and give you all that gay girl glitter on how to live a more peaceful, pretty, productive, and happy life. Because I think you deserve it. So, God, guys, come on. A whole year. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. But I wouldn't be here without you. So, I mean, I would actually. No offense. But I decided when I started this podcast that I was going to do it regardless, even if like only one person listens. When I started this podcast, I had to do it. It wasn't something that I was going to do with the expectation of getting a bunch of followers or listeners. It was more something that it started off as a whisper inside me for a long time. And then it started to be like a much more insistent sound in my heart that I had to do this podcast. I just had to. And then I got to the point where it was like screaming. I was like, do the podcast. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Even if no one listens, I'm going to do it. And then turns out a lot of you guys do listen. And since I started the podcast, we've been in like the top 10% of all podcasts. I'm going to cry already. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, top 10% of all podcasts that exist. That's crazy. Okay, we're going to get ourselves together here, but just know that I appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Happy anniversary, everybody. Woo! Throw some confetti. But for the anniversary episode, I asked you guys if you wanted like a topic episode like I usually do or a q&GAY, and you picked q&GAY. So this anniversary episode, I'm going to be answering a bunch of your questions. You guys sent in like a bajillion, so I'm going to get to as many as I can in the time that we have together today. Real quick, let me just update you on my life, okay? Feels appropriate. It is Pride Month, and that's appropriate also for the launch of the podcast last year. I was like, I got to get it in before Pride Month ends, so it's the last week of Pride Month. And this month, starting actually at the end of May, it's been real intense. I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 days off total, and those days have been spent like doing laundry and getting my house together. But the rest of it has been Girls in Wonderland, Provincetown, New Orleans Pride, St. Pete Pride, Girl Party, just so many different things, so many events. I've just been loving this extra gay glitter grind this month. My goodness. I know I should probably want like a little bit more time off to like recoup or relax or whatever, but I just love this shit so much. You guys have no idea. So even though I'm dehydrated, next level exhausted, I am just the happiest gay girl in the world. Pretty sure. Yeah, that's me. Happiest gay girl in the entire world. That's thanks to you guys. Thanks for coming to my shows. Thanks for coming to hang out. Speaking of hanging out, you guys asked so many questions. So you curious little kitties, let's get into it. I'm going to answer as many as I can. Let's go. Do you get desensitized to boobs and hot women because you're surrounded by them all the time, getting changed with them, etc.? As I said at the start of this, if you don't know who I am, I'm a burlesque performer and I run a troupe of about like 15 hot queer women. So I'm around lots and lots of hot queer women all the time, not just performing for them, but also backstage with them. So do I get desensitized to boobs and hot women? Yes and no. Okay, so it's more about context and like whether or not the situation is sexual. So like I've never sexualized the bodies of like my fellow performers. Unless I'm romantically involved with you and that's the tea and that's what we're doing, A body to me is just a body. Like, I can be around naked women and not have a single sexual thought because that's not the context. That's not the situation. That's not what's happening. We're performers getting dressed and getting ready for a show. We're at work. And while yes, I see lots of hot women and boobs and bodies, I can be around all of that and not sexualize it. You hear that, men? It's actually pretty easy to do. And just because I'm a lesbian doesn't mean that I'm attracted to all women or that I want to be in a sexual context with all women. Now, if I've got a girl in my bedroom back at home, that's a little bit of a different story. You know, if I'm romantically or sexually involved with someone, even if I've seen those boobies a million times, I'm still jaw on the floor, wolf whistling, on my knees, worshiping. I'll never get over girls in that context. You know, like if I am romantically involved with you, I will never be desensitized to your body, no matter how many boobs I see at work. It's like how I'd imagine like a lesbian gynecologist, right? Like she is face deep in vaginas all day long, but I guarantee it's different for her at home with her girlfriend or her wife, you know? So it's kind of how it is for me. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Context is literally everything. How do you keep going with all the homophobia and discrimination? It feels like it's just constantly getting worse. It's hard to just get through the day. I feel like there's just always been homophobia and discrimination, but that actually fuels me to live out loud more, to be more gay. I know when I came out, my mom in particular was really worried about me because of things like homophobia and discrimination. And I know that since like the Trump era, it's been ratcheted up because these bigots have been like given the green light to come out of their dank little hidey holes and be like openly discriminatory. But I refuse to let them stop me from living my best life. And I know that the more powerful I become, the more I lean into my own power and don't let them make me want to go back in the closet, the more scared of me they become. And I'm just so wholly and completely confident in being gay. Like I love it so much. I don't feel any shame about it. There's nothing that they can say to me that's going to hurt my feelings about being gay. Then I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a dyke. Let's go. And I really just try to lean into the fact that I am on the right side of history. And that if our foremothers and forefathers didn't still try to live their own truths in spite of the homophobia that they faced, I know that I wouldn't have so many of the rights and the capacity to live out loud that I do. So I do it for them. And I do it for future generations. And if anything bad does ever happen to me, at least I know I lived my life authentically. And I think that that's what really matters. I do think right now what we're actually experiencing more of is actually transphobia versus your just generic ye old homophobia. And I know a lot of my trans friends are exhausted, scared, drained, and that they feel very alone. Trans people are much more under attack at the moment than just your regular lesbian, gays, and bisexuals. So do me a favor and check on your trans friends, okay? Their literal right to exist is definitely under attack, you know, from their medical needs to their gender rights and more. So yeah, they need us to show them that we love and support them and in a very real way. So yeah, for me, I fight and I continue on simply because I don't feel like I have any other option. I want to live out loud. I want to live my truth. I want to live authentically. And I know I'm on the right side of history. So I know it's tough. And if you do feel drained, if you are scared, that's okay too. Like you don't have to be on the front lines. Like you can feel a little more scared. You can feel those things. I just know that the more I lean into my own power, the stronger I feel and the less scared I feel. Yeah, that's how I do it. Just be extra gay to spite the bigots. Have you ever gotten into a fight with any of your vixens, or have any of your vixens gotten into a fight with each other? It's like 15 girls. Of course, they're going to have like their spats and their issues and their things. Yeah, it was a sisterhood. Sisters fight. It is what it is. And then they get over it. And then they're best friends again. It's really magical. The only vixen I ever like really didn't vibe with is no longer a vixen. So yeah, everybody else, it's usually just they get pissed at me about their schedule, which is like, okay. What are some of your non-negotiables? Oh, geez. I can't date someone who does drugs. Talked a lot about that in another episode, so I just can't do that again. Another non-negotiable for me is someone needs to be able to handle my job, and I don't just mean the fact that I'm surrounded by lesbians all day long. You have to be able to handle without making my life harder. You have to be able to handle like the fact that I'm on the road a lot, that my work is not just my work, but it's also my purpose, my passion, my creative outlet. It means a lot to me, and it is a priority in my life. And that doesn't mean that there's a hierarchy. It just means I have priorities, and someone who is able to understand that. And then also, like, I will not deal with people insecurities as far as like my job goes. Like, I will not be getting into fights at the end of the night with a girlfriend being like, who was that girl? Why did you look at her too long? Why was, whatever. Like, those are my non-negotiables. No drugs. And if you can handle the glitter grind, handle the fact that like this is my life and my passion, my purpose. And yeah, I'm going to be surrounded by lots of hot women. It's not easy. It's not easy to date an entertainer. I give you that. It's not easy. But like when I am in a relationship, it's like girls can put money in my underwear, but my girlfriend takes my underwear off. So when I have a girlfriend, that's the party line. That's the panty line. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of times girls do think that they can handle dating an entertainer, but I am telling you, it's not for the weak. It's not for the insecure. And if you do find yourself dating a vixen, good for you, go you, and you find that you are starting to feel a little more controlling over that vixen, just don't date an entertainer unless you can really handle it. Like, it's okay. You don't have to date an entertainer. You can find someone with a job that doesn't trigger your insecurities. Like, that's okay. So yeah, I've seen so many vixen girlfriends like pick fights with them after shows and make life very challenging. And it's just not it. Just don't do it. I mean, I'm sure I have more non-negotiables. I don't want kids. Yep. I don't want kids. So that's another non-negotiable. If you want kids, it ain't me, kid. Move it along. Get out of here. I'm new to a queer female relationship after being in relationships with men most of my life. Any tips, things I should know? Oh, honey. Yes, I do believe that there are lots of things that you should know. And I'll do my best to give you like some tips and advice. And I will do my best to be serious because I know that this is like a very real and very exciting thing. Dating a woman for the first time. Like, I'm so excited for you. That's awesome. And there are absolutely dynamics that will be different with women that you may need to adjust to. I've been known to come across as a man hater, and I blame men for this. Because if they would behave differently and better, I wouldn't have so many reasons to be like, what the fuck, With that being said, my following advice may come off as like anti-guy and pro-gay girl, because I am both of those things. But in all seriousness, dating women is definitely a different animal than from dating men, in my opinion. My opinion is also that dating women is superior, and I am correct. That is, my opinion is the right one. But anyway, I think a huge difference is going to be communication. I think women definitely communicate differently than men. Men communicate differently than women. So you may be used to like less communication overall, or communication that like lacks depth and intensity and passion, maybe. So be prepared to like talk to your girl more, I think, than most women. Like, I think most women talk to their girlfriends more than, I don't know. Some of y'all are going to come for me for these answers, I think. I haven't dated a boy since high school, so what do I know? I just know things. But yeah, I think talking with girls, it's not just like flirting and making plans that you would like have in every kind of relationship, but there's also just like the good old tea spilling and chit chatting that you do with like a best friend. And I think that's one of the best parts about dating girls is like you can just like talk about all things at all times for everything, like from literally just like making plans to like the tea, the gossip, your thoughts and feelings. There's a lot of dreamy talk, a lot of random thought sharing, a lot of compliments and cute things and romance, and then just like a lot of wanting to just talk, even if it's about nothing. Also, you may be used to like more defined gender roles, like with dating guys, but with girls, gender roles are much more fluid. I mean, we do both, we do neither, we do more, we do less. So gender roles may not follow what you're used to, like both in how you're treated and how you may act. Like, for example, you might be the one dashing around the car to open the door for your girl. In relationship with dudes, if you dated a gentleman, he would open the door for you. You might start to want to be that for your girl, But never let your girl touch a door handle, you know what I'm saying? And I love that gender roles don't have to follow society's norms when you're dating women. I think that's one of my favorite parts about dating women. Your thoughts and feelings might be valued and cherished more or differently than you are used to or than that you're expecting. So that will probably feel nice, but also something you'll need to adjust to because you're going to probably need to be communicating your feelings more often, more regularly, more openly. I know some of these sound like I'm being a little facetious, like I'm a little like, men are just brick walls of nothingness. But like, I am actually being serious. Like there's stark differences in communication with women versus men, how feelings, thoughts, and everything are expressed, blah, blah, blah. You know, emotions and communication are handled differently in women loving women relationships. And that might actually be a very real adjustment for you in how you communicate and how you get communicated to. Sex will obviously be different and better. So get used to actually having orgasms. Stay hydrated. Sex can last for hours with women. Don't forget to eat and stretch and hydrate, you know, set alarms so you don't miss work. And I also really do think attachment styles, for some reason, I feel like they come into play so much more with women loving women relationships. I don't know, I feel like they just play a more prominent role. I don't know, at least for me. So figure out your attachment style, figure out your girl's attachment style, learn about them, learn about your triggers so you can both be a little more securely attached. I think like a lot of times things get like really enmeshed with women because it's so easy to do because we're so just like, yum, yum, yum. We just want to spend all your time with them. So like really figure out your attachment style, your boundaries, like keep things a little more clear because I feel like with women, those things kind of get muddied. Yeah. And if you learn about your attachment styles, I really do think you can save like a whole lot of mess with dating women. But like, good on you. Congratulations. I hope it goes well. I hope you don't have any heartache with women. But if you do, I want to hold your hand, honey, because it's going to be tough. If it happens, it's going to be tough. Oh, Lord, buckle up. But yeah, it's worth it. It's so worth it. Every second. I got this question 5 bajillion times. Are you single? Yes, I am. Single and terrified of women. It's okay though. We're chugging along, living our best lives, living that single life. Yeah. Okay, moving on. How do you handle fans that get territorial? I'm lucky because I have a lot of good support and security. So like if anyone does get weird, you know, like I have people who walk me to my car and things like that. But I have had fans get like pissy if I don't give them enough attention at shows or if I give someone else more attention as if I owe them my attention, you know? I don't owe you anything. It's interesting to watch people get pissy, but I'll ignore someone completely if they start behaving that way. I just don't put up with it. And if someone gets to the point where like I actually need to have a conversation with them, I absolutely will tell them their behavior is unacceptable and it's making me uncomfortable and they need to cut that shit out. But yeah, I'm pretty diplomatic, so when I do have to do it, I do it with a lot of love and firmness. It is interesting where fans get territorial and they start mean mugging people who I'm giving attention to. That's weird. Don't do that. Will you share what you're currently working on with your therapist? It could be greatly beneficial to those of us struggling out here. Right now I'm mostly working on developing my emotional agility to deal with change. I don't like change. I don't like change. I'm not a big change kind of gal. But I think it's because I just love my life so much. And if it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix it? You know, kind of thing. But change is the stuff of life and life is the stuff of change. So I'm working on becoming a little more emotionally agile there so I don't get stuck and I don't get paralyzed when there's change, if that makes sense. You know, I want to move a little bit quicker through change so I don't get stuck in like analysis paralysis or anything like that. So that is what I'm working on. I'm also working on wrangling my lizard brain. The glitter grind can be pretty exhausting, and when I get home from a gig, sometimes my lizard brain takes over, and instead of getting out of my car, going inside, showering, and go to bed, I sit in my car and scroll on my phone for like ever. I hate that. I hate it so much. So I'm working on figuring out ways to wrangle my lizard brain. And for those of you who say like, oh, but you're decompressing. No. It's not decompressing. It's not something that is actually serving me or doing any actual decompressing sitting in my car. Like something that would be actually decompressing is instead of sitting there for an hour in my car scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, I would come inside and maybe stretch for 20 minutes and then journal or something and then shower and go to bed. That would actually be decompressing, not doom scrolling. So I hate that. So yeah, I'm working on how to wrangle my lizard brain when I am exhausted at the end of the night. Billy or Renee Rapp? I wouldn't kick either out of bed, you know what I'm saying? But Billy, gotta be Billy for me. Would you ever date someone who comes to your Vixen shows? Absolutely. Vixen shows are where I've met like all of my ex-girlfriends. So, you know, what better place to meet women? Would you prefer to be proposed to in a private setting or publicly? Privately, I would like to cry like I do over the proposals I see on TikTok. Privately, something special, something that has like meaning. I think that'd be sweet if I ever got proposed to. Yeah, but that's, remember, single. She's single. So anyway, how long do you plan on doing burlesque? For as long as people want to see me do it. If there is one person in the audience being like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it until they are literally pulling me off the stage with a little hook and saying like, girl, it's over. Let it go. For as long as you all will let me. It is just the best thing in the entire world. I'll do it forever. You know, I'll do it. I'm going to keep doing it even after no one wants to see me. Then I'll become like a weird oddity. I'll be like the super old lady who does burlesque. That's going to be my thing. I'm going to do it forever. Tell me 3 positive things that have helped shape you into the person you are today. 1, that my parents were not homophobic. That was huge. 2, that I go to therapy. That's huge. And 3, I read a lot and I read a lot of books growing up. And so that absolutely shaped me as a person, expanded my worldview, and I think helped develop my empathy for people. I think the more you can see different perspectives, the more empathy you have. So I think reading, continuing to read, and growing up reading lots and lots of books has shaped me. Are you guys having fun? I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying these Q&A. We're going to keep going. So I hope you're having fun. Who or what was your gay awakening? My first girlfriend, actually, like I didn't know I was gay until I met her. Like I always felt different, but I didn't know why until I met her. And I was like, oh, there it is. I'm just a lesbian. This all makes sense now. So yeah. And of course, looking back, I see there were lots of like strong hints that I would be gay, but I didn't realize it until I met my first girlfriend who was openly out. And I was like, oh. I never really have like celebrity crushes or things like that either. I needed to meet an actual gay person and have that like chemistry, that crush, those feelings to be like, oh, that's what I am. There it is. That makes sense. Do you have people you look forward to seeing in the crowd at your shows? Yes, and for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, there's some very, very gay reasons why I want to see certain people in the crowd. You know, I'm winking at you right now. Hi. Some very, very gay reasons I want certain people in the crowd. But there are also people who come to our shows who I just know are going to bring the hype. Like, I know if they're in the crowd, it's going to be a great night. You know, they're going to bring the energy. They're going to bring the party. They're just good energy. They light up a room. So I always look forward to seeing those people. And actually right now I'm going to do a shout out to Tanisha, Tiana, and Brianna. I love y'all so much. You are some of our all-time faves. And we know that no matter what, if y'all are in the audience, the energy is going to be incredible. You're going to hype everyone else up. You're going to make everyone else feel really good. You're going to make us feel good. And we hope we make you feel good too. We adore you. So yeah, that's my little shout out to those babes. Thank y'all for everything that you do. It really means a lot. And a lot of our regulars who come to our shows often, like we look forward to seeing you. We hope we get to see you. We hope you'll be there because it's almost like it makes us feel like, okay, we're comfortable. We're good. We know that there are going to be people out there who are going to hype us up. They get it, you know, all that. So yeah, I appreciate that. This question says, and I love this. It's been years since I've eaten a girl out. Besides actively communicating with her, what are some tips for getting back into the act without embarrassing myself? Oh my God, yay. How fun for you. Welcome back to the game, baby. Whew. Okay, you're already on the right track with communication because every body is different. So the last time you were between some girl's legs may not be what the legs in front of you right now would want or would feel good or would prefer, you know what I'm saying? Which is honestly just good advice no matter how long it's been. Like communication is key because every girl, every body is different and what someone liked in your past may not be what someone likes in your present. So make sure that you're communicating before, during, and after. And don't get too much in your head when you're giving head. That ruins the fun. If you're too worried about if you're doing it right, whatever, that's just going to take you out of the moment. So do your best to stay out of your head while you're giving head. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. And of course, with the communication, be willing to listen, to learn her, to adjust your technique, to be doing what she actually wants you to do. Sometimes we may think we know what's best, or we think we know we're a pro at something, and then you're down there and that person does not actually like that at all. So listen to the person and be a safe space for them to communicate. That's huge, to feel safe, to be a safe space. But it seems like you already know that. Also, I'm so excited for you. Like, welcome back to the game. But yes, let's see what else. Oh, feel free to let her know as well that like you're newly back in the saddle, and that while you hope it's like riding a bike, you want her to feel good and amazing, and ask her pretty directly. Feel free to direct me, please do. I want to give you exactly what you like. I want to, I'm going to try some things. Please let me know, yay or nay, and like if I need to move a little to the left, like whatever it is, because I want to make you feel really good. So yeah, don't be afraid to let her know that it's been a minute, and she might be stoked with that too. Be like, oh, so I'm your entry back into this world. How great for me, right? And also just remember, you get to do this amazing thing called giving women pleasure. And that makes you basically an American hero. And I salute you, my friend. Get out there and eat that girl for lunch. Will you ever have a guest on your podcast? If so, who's your dream guest? I would love to have guests on my podcast. It's really hard to schedule the podcast in general at the moment. So guests, I hope I'll be able to do that sometime this year. And dream guest, God, I don't know. There's so many queer people I want to have. I want to have queer artists on. I want to have queer musicians. I want to have non-binary babes. I want to have trans babes. I want to have all kinds of people on this podcast, including like sex therapists and people like that. I think it would be really, really interesting. Different perspectives that could actually like help other people. That's my vibe. I'm here for that. And this one's funny. How do you not get turned on while giving lap dances to hot lesbians? Bro, when I tell you my quads are dying, I'm sweating, I'm trying to not get my fishnet stuck on her carabiner. I'm hoping the DJ does not switch the song to something sexy to Party in the USA, because I swear to God, every time, I don't know why, it's always that song. I'm giving someone a lap dance and it turns into Party in the USA by Miley. And I'm like, it's really challenging to give a lap dance to that song, I'll tell you what. But yeah, I'm hoping the girl's friends are getting a good angle while they're recording. I'm hoping she's thinking whatever I'm doing is sexy. I'm hoping I don't kick her in the head when I flip around. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening when I'm giving these lap dances. But yeah, occasionally I will forget that there are 1,000 lesbians watching, and I'll be like, whoa, hello there. How you doing? And then my fishnets get stuck on her carabiner and the moment is gone. How did you gain the confidence to perform? I honestly have no idea where my confidence comes from. To be totally honest, like, I don't know. I have no idea. I just do it. I just love it. Maybe it comes from acceptance. Like, I accept the way I look. I accept the way I dance. I know what I have to give, and I feel good about that. I've seen that it's been working for me. So I kind of roll with that. But I've always had confidence, and I think maybe it just comes from I think really acceptance, because I remember being younger and thinking to myself that I don't think I'll ever be hot, but I also was okay with that. And I knew that, and I was like, well, I'll develop other things. I'll get a personality. I don't know. I think maybe shifting my focus away from that ended up giving me confidence to just go out there and do what I do. And I'm shocked every day by it, to be honest. I'm shocked at my own audacity to get out there and do what I do, but I'm also shocked at the response. And that daily, I'm like, what? You guys think I'm cute? Stop. Tell me more. Go on. You like what I do? You like coming to my shows? You enjoy it? Wow. Crazy. So that could also be it. I just don't expect it. That's a good question. It seemed like such a simple question, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's really getting my brain going. I have no idea where my confidence comes from. Sorry. Wish I had a better answer for that. Give less fucks, but then give more fucks about other things. I think that's what it is. I care less about certain things and I care more about other things. And then that gives me the confidence to go out there and do what I do. So I care less about being judged and I care more about giving of myself. That could be it. Let's roll with that. Okay. Would you consider opening your own venue. God, no. I mean, I would love to have a space all my own that I could run the way I wanted. I could have a clean, safe, sexy, sapphic space because I've been in this industry for a long time and I've seen a lot of venues run things in ways that I cannot stand. So I would love to do that. But the reality of running a venue, all the business stuff and the stress and the money, and I've seen so many venues come and go. It's just not for me. I'm an artist. And while I'm also a Virgo and I love running my company, the idea of tallying up liquor costs or something makes me want to vomit. So no, I don't actually want to run a venue. The reality of running a venue, I don't want anything to do with that. But I wish I had more control over how certain venues are run with a little more integrity, run with better security, cleaner, safer, sexier, more sapphic, less catered to men. These are things that I would want. What is the sweetest thing that someone has told you while performing or that a fan has done for you? Honestly, right now, what it is when you guys tell me you love my podcast. And I know we're on the podcast right now, but I put so much time and energy and effort into this podcast. And the fact that you'll sit with me for an hour and listen to me talk, that means so much. Whew, it means the world. And so the amount of people who just will randomly tell me, I love your podcast. And sometimes it's from unexpected people, like a straight guy or something. It just means the world to me. So that is a huge, huge, huge one for me right now. Over the years, people have done and said a lot of really incredible, sweet things. When people tell me that they came out because of me or the Vixens, when they tell me that they feel better about who they are, they feel more comfortable in their gayness. I mean, those things, God, who needs a car? I could just float everything on these compliments and these things like that. To know that we have that kind of impact is huge and insane. And I don't take it for granted. I actually have so many screenshots in my phone of messages you guys have sent me, things like that, that just mean the world to me. They fuel me. They keep me going. They are the life source to everything that I do. They reaffirm my purpose. And I think that is something that is so kind and loving of you all to give to me, is those little notes from the universe telling me that I'm doing the right thing. So thank you. Have you ever had a secret crush on a fan/follower? Would you ever make the first move? I absolutely have. I'm definitely more on the assertive side and typically make the first move. But with people I meet at my shows, I'm definitely more cautious and I don't trust easily. And if I meet you at my shows, I'm always a little unsure of people's intentions. Do you want the clout of dating a vixen or what? What's your deal? This might sound weird to you guys, but I'm super protective of Evelina's world, and letting people cross over from Ivy's world into Evelina's world is not something that I do lightly. And I know I'm talking about myself in third person and as two separate people, and I know that's bizarre, but Ivy's world is glitz and glam and it's on a stage and there's all these things. Evelina's world is my quote unquote real life, my safety, my haven, my space. And so letting people cross over from Ivy's world into Evelina's world, it's a big deal for me. It's a huge deal for me. And I have been burned badly in the past doing that. So even if I'm crushing on someone, there's a lot more to it than me just making the first move. Does that make sense? It's a protective thing. So while I am more assertive, typically do make the first move, even if I have a crush on someone, the idea of moving someone from Ivy's world into Evelina's world there's just more to it for me. My BF likes you, won't stop talking about you. By BF, do you mean best friend? If it's your best friend and it's a girl, love that. If you mean boyfriend, and you're a gay boy and it's a gay boy boyfriend, love that. If you mean BF boyfriend as in straight dude, tell him to stop perceiving me. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye. How did you get your name, Ivy Les Vixens? My name is Evelina. Hi. My friends call me Evie. And when I was trying to come up with a stage name, I had a lot of really stupid ideas, like Dixie. That was one I thought was cute. Lots of not good stage names. And then a friend of mine was like, Evie Ivy. Ivy, it's perfect. And I was like, you're so right. It is absolutely perfect. And then the Les Vixens, when I first started my troupe, we were trying to come up with a name. And I just loved the idea of vixens because I thought we were so sexy and fun. And it was just a really great name. But I was like, let's make it more fancy. Les. like les vixens, like fancy vixens, make a little French, but also LES, like lesbian vixens. It just was a play on words that I really liked. And then my stage name is stupid, Ivy Les Vixens. It should be Ivy Les Vixen. It should be singular. But Facebook made me give myself a last name. And so I put Ivy Les Vixens, and then that just stuck. So I'm aware that it's plural when it shouldn't be. But yeah, that was Facebook's fault. I blame everything on men and Meta. Someone asked, recently I was told I was quote unquote weird about sex because I won't have sex unless multiple variables, like if we were on the same page with the relationship, serious versus not. I tried to humbly explain that it seems as though anyone would hook up with me and that icks me out. Long story long, does your career make you feel similarly? I totally get that. Like for me, I've never really had like a one night stand. I don't really find random sex with random people to be kind of my vibe. I prefer to have more of a connection with someone instead of just banging strangers, which I could do. I have a plethora of people at the club who I'm sure would come home with me if I asked them nicely. But yeah, I think if someone's telling you that you're weird for having boundaries, that's a giant red flag, in my opinion. People should respect your boundaries and also find them hot. I think boundaries are sexy. I'm sorry that someone made you feel weird about having boundaries and wanting certain things to be in place, certain variables for you to feel comfortable to have sex, but don't ever let anyone make you feel like you're being weird. Sex is a very personal thing. It is your body, it is your choice, and you get to dictate the circumstances in which you feel comfortable having sex. I support that wholeheartedly. Good luck to that person calling you weird because they don't sound like they have good boundaries. It's not necessarily that my career makes me feel that way. I think I have more exposure to people who would want to have sex with me, and I work in a very sexy job. It doesn't necessarily give me the ick because I know that my job is like this fantasy, this sexy thing. So it makes sense to me, but I also feel like people sometimes assume that I like bring like costumes into the bedroom or that I'm like, gonna put on a show, and that's hilarious and not the tea. If you ever do come home with me, don't expect me to put on the old razzle dazzle. I'll do something different that'll be even better. But if you expect me to like bust in the door in like a full corset and outfit, yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, I think that's probably an assumption people make. What you see on stage is what you get in the bedroom, but no, what you get in the bedroom is way better. How do you flip the page into the next chapter of your life when it hurts to let go? I once saw an illustration of like a hand holding a rope. The hand that was holding the rope was so raw and red from gripping so tightly to this rope. And then once they let go of the rope, the hand was able to heal and it was no longer like ripped up and bleeding and all those things. And I thought that visual was super powerful. Sometimes hanging on to something hurts so much more than letting go, even though letting go also hurts. But I would say just be gentle with yourself. Moving forward when you don't want to is also really painful. So give yourself a lot of grace. If you can't let go right now, that's okay. But take baby steps. Think about what is best for you, not for the other person, not for so-and-so, this and that. What is actually best for you long-term, your long-term happiness, not your immediate pleasure, but your long-term happiness. Write it down and then ask yourself with all your choices, is this serving me the best? Is this the healthiest choice for me? I think using the word healthy is really powerful. Is this the healthiest choice for me? Is this the best choice for me? Can get kind of like muddy. So I think, is this the healthiest choice for me? And just do that. And if sometimes you're like, it's not, but I don't care, that's okay too. You don't always have to make the best, healthiest choice for yourself. But if you're trying to turn the page and move forward, have grace, ask yourself with everything you're doing, is this going to move me forward or push me back? And then that can kind of help you make those harder decisions. I have so many type A questions. I just want to know how you create your schedule. It is a beast. I'll tell you what, making the schedule for the Vixens, I usually do it like 2 months in advance, and it's like 10 cities, 15 Vixens with all their crazy availabilities, the lack thereof, all the things. It's a lot. I could not survive without my planner. I have to look at it 1,000 times a day to make sure I'm not missing anything. I write everything down. I write it down in my phone and in a physical planner. So I have 2 options so I can see it when I'm have my planner. I can see it on my phone. It's a lot. The scheduling, the admin side of the business is a lot. Takes a lot. So all your type A questions, girl, I got to spend a lot of time doing a lot of the things. Thank God I'm a Virgo and I do have like some type A tendencies. I really do enjoy some of the business side of this, running the company. Thank God, because it's a lot. If you had $1 million to spend on creating more sapphic spaces, what would you create? I would create a space where I could be selective about what kind of cisgender men were allowed in, to be totally honest. Like at Southern, it's a business, and while it is a night for the girls, the word has gotten out that we are the best party. So the gay boys love to come to the girl party because they know it's the best party, even though they have 5 million other nights that they can go to. They know that our night is the best, and the word has also gotten out to straight people. So we have some straight people coming, which is fine-ish. It's fine, depending. And of course, everyone is welcome. We're very welcoming. But if I had the money to create a space and I didn't need to rely on like bar sales or whatever to keep that space open, I just would not let in cisgender straight dudes, or I would be very selective about which ones got to go in. There would be a screening process and it would be a case-by-case basis. You know, straight guys are just often so entitled, and that entitlement is just so blatant, especially when they are in queer spaces. So if I'm being totally honest, if I could ban most of them, I would. That is what I would do with a bunch of money to have a safe sapphic space. But I am working on something like that. So keep your eyes open and all will be revealed soon. How exciting. But like caveat, like there are some really great straight guys who I love when they come to our shows, and they would have an immediate in, they'd be on the list, you know, they're great. So there are some straight dudes who deserve to get to come to our shows. Would you ever date another vixen? Oh my God, no. No way. I know too much about them. No, thank you. No, they're all wonderful. I have made out with one vixen. I'm not going to tell you who. She was a good kisser, and anyone who gets to date her, good on you. But hell no, I would never date any of them. I love them all so much. They're so wonderful, all the things, but no thank you. If we see you out and about, could we come say hi, or would you rather just have you time? Please come say hello. If you see me out and about in the world, I will blush. I will be awkward. I will probably hug you 30 times. I will not really know how to handle the interaction, but yes, please come say hello to me. It, first of all, makes me feel cool. Like I'm not even lying. It makes me feel so cool when I'm out in the wild, just out and about, no makeup on, just in my little like Adam Sandler outfit. And people come, they're like, oh my God, Ivy, like makes me feel so cool. It really, truly does. Some days I wish like I'd thrown on a little makeup or something. But please do, if you see me out in the wild, come say hi. It would make my day. But once again, don't expect me to be cool. You might be making me feel cool, but I will not be cool, okay? Just know that in advance. Could a trans femme, non-binary person have the sapphic gaze, or is that something different? That episode was enlightening. Thank you so much. I love you. I know who you are. I love you so much. I do think the sapphic gaze can be experienced by anyone. I think most of us, men, women, non-binary, trans people, lesbians, straight people, gay, whatever, have mostly experienced the world through the male gaze. Thank you, patriarchy. But we can all break free of that, I think, if we are consciously working to do that. And then we can all have the sapphic gaze, which would make the world a much better place, in my opinion. What advice would you give little gay you? How would you tell her it was going to be okay? Honestly, I have always loved being gay. I really have. So little gay me wouldn't necessarily need to know that it would be okay, because I think she's always known that. But I would tell her about narcissists, about toxic relationships. I would even tell her about sociopaths. I would talk to her about what to look for and how to stay away from and or get out of toxic relationships, lickety split. I think little gay me would need to understand more about boundaries, more about the idea of the frog in the water, the boiling water. If you throw a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you put a frog in water and slowly turn up the heat, it will cook itself. And I think that that is a perfect example of toxic relationships. And so I would talk to little gay me more about those types of things. And I would also tell her that rebounding after relationships is a terrible idea, at least for her, by which I mean me, little gay me. Having rebounds after relationships is a terrible idea. every rebound you'll ever have will be awful and make your life a living hell. So I would tell little gay me, when you get out of relationships, just give yourself a little bit of time, heal, face the heartache head on. Don't try to dull the pain with a rebound because it's going to triple your pain. It's going to make everything so much worse. Stay away from all rebounds. You're the queen of causing gay panic, but do you ever experience gay panic yourself while on stage? Yes, absolutely. But lucky for me, I can play it off by prancing away so you can't see me blushing and you can't hear my heart pounding because, once again, I am not cool. I have you all duped into thinking I'm cool. But yeah, I gay panic pretty regularly. But you'll never know because I just twirl away. Hee hee. Bye. What have you seen in the crowds before that has really shocked you, made you laugh, specifically when performing in queer spaces? Because I know the straights never cease to surprise, but I want the gay girl tea. Well, girl, let me spill the tea. I see everything from the stage. So I know who's cheating on who. I know who's with one girl, with a different girl. I know all. I see it all. I see it all. So if you're cheating on your girl, I have seen you do it. But mostly I just see queer people like living out loud, singing, dancing their asses off, making out. And it's just so beautiful to see queer joy. And I love it so much. So that's mostly what I see. Occasionally girls cheating, but mostly just people living their best lives. And that is so fun. It's so fun to watch that. I have such a cool POV, I'll tell you what. And you guys all look beautiful and hot and sexy and sweaty. And it's, God, it's just, I love it. Do you think burlesque / being well known has positively or negatively affected your dating life? I think both. I think it has been a great thing. And I also think it has been a terrible thing. It's really hard to date an entertainer. I've talked about this so much. It's a challenge. There's a lot that goes into it, especially a full-time entertainer, someone who is on the road a lot. It is very difficult. And I, for myself, I've been in relationships where they wanted a lot more from me than I could give, than I had the capacity to give with my schedule, with everything. And I did my best and I tried really, really hard. I have had to face the fact that my career is also my purpose, my passion, my art, my income, all of these things. And that takes up a lot of time and energy. And then the time and energy it also takes to maintain a relationship. I do have that. I can manage both. I can balance it out if someone is okay with understanding both sides of it. I do my best. I think I'm a great girlfriend when I am in a relationship. I think I'm a really, really good girlfriend. But I think being on the road a lot does present some challenges in relationships. So burlesque and being well known, I do think has been a great thing, but it also has made dating hard, which, that sucks, but whatever. I know you prefer performing for us queer girls, but is there anything that even well-intentioned queer girls do during your shows that from y'all's perspective might actually not be the best choice? The first thing that came to my mind is that when we are giving you a lap dance and you try to take over, like you like grab us and you start trying to dance with us and like grind on us and you try to like kind of try to give us the dance. That's kind of annoying. Like, no offense, but like just sit there and let us do our thing. Like, just enjoy it. Don't try to like grab our hips and grind on us or pull any tricks. Like, have fun with it. But when you're literally trying to magic mic us, it's just not it. It's annoying. It's like, sit down and stuff and like just relax into it. Just let us do our thing. My quad's already dying. Trying to stay in place when you're like bucking around it's just a lot. I'm like, you're gonna knock me off and it's gonna be awkward for everyone. Just can you just sit there, please? That is one thing. That's kind of funny, but gosh, another thing is so like I take dollar bills out of people's mouths. Get over it. I know it's gross, but like whatever. Live your best life. But when someone puts a dollar bill in their mouth and they won't let go, that's really annoying. Like, so they gotta come grab it and they just won't let go. The amount of dollars that have been ripped in half that way is unconscionable. Don't do that. Don't hang on to the dollar until it's ripped. Like, that's silly. I don't want 50 cents. Also, don't ever grab a performer, period. Don't pull on our costumes. Don't pull on our underwear. Don't do anything without our consent. Also, don't ever try to put a dollar bill somewhere inappropriate. That's really not cool and it's gross. And you're acting like the worst dude. So don't do that. I guess what it all comes down to is just like, don't act like a gross dude. Otherwise, we're golden, baby. What do you like to do that you wouldn't consider work and aside from your career? I love going on hikes. Being out in nature, it is my favorite thing in the entire world. Take me on a hike. I love it so much. What are some things that inspire you? You guys, You inspire me. All the queers who are living out loud, that just inspires me every single day to keep doing what I'm doing, to work harder, to give us more representation. I love it so much. Also, with costuming, which is like a shift from kind of different types of inspiration, like why do I do what I do, but also costume inspiration comes from all kinds of places. One of the costumes I'm working on right now, I was trying to figure out this one color combination and I couldn't figure it out. And then I was taking a walk and I saw this flower and I was like, oh my God, there it is. That's the color combo that I want. And now I'm obsessed and I can't wait to finish that costume. It's going to be so beautiful. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Yes. So I get inspiration from all kinds of places, even just taking a walk. Get some inspiration from nature. Have you always been so confidently out and proud? It's so inspiring. Thank you so much. And yes, I have. Pretty much right when I came out, I've just been out and proud and loving it. I hope me being so openly out and proud helps other people feel a little safer to do that as well. Is your profession ever taxing on you mentally? Performing? No. Performing feeds my heart and soul, but what is taxing is dealing with venues and venue owners who don't appreciate or respect us, dealing with some of the vixens who don't understand how much work goes into the back end and they like bitch about schedule. That's annoying and draining. Not getting paid fairly or as much as drag entertainers. That's taxing. That's annoying. I don't like that. Oh God. And like social media censoring us just because we have the juiciest booties. I hate social media. I hate the censorship. I hate it so much. Literally any photo that shows our butts gets like flagged. Every single one. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the rest of us fully clothed if there is enough of a moon back there, there's enough of a peach, social media is censoring it. I hate it. It's so frustrating. I wish it wasn't that way. I hate social media and its censorship of femme bodies. Those things are taxing. Performing, no. Even all the driving and stuff, yeah, it's kind of tiring, but it doesn't mentally tax me. What is the most challenging thing of being gay for you? Dating women. It's the best and the worst. Yeah, I don't really struggle with anything else. I don't struggle with being gay in any way, shape, or form. Just the challenges of dating women. Love it. Hate it. Can't live without it. What have you learned about yourself through your podcast? I have learned that I don't actually have the capacity to put out a podcast every single week. I do so much. And this podcast has been so fulfilling, but it's so much work, to be honest. So I've had to acknowledge the fact that I don't have infinite time and infinite energy, and I have to be okay with getting these episodes out when I can get them out. And bless you guys for still listening, even when the uploads are sporadic. It means the entire world. Some months are busier, some are slower, and I can get out more episodes. But yeah, I really wanted to do an episode every other week. I wanted to do them weekly, to be honest, but I tried and I just really overexerted myself trying to get them out every other week. So now I have to kind of find peace in the fact that I will get them out when I can and trust that you guys will still want to listen to me talk, even if it's a random surprise a couple times a month. So thank you for still listening. I am doing my best out here, and it's hard to acknowledge when you can't do literally everything. I would like to do everything, but I can't. I can do anything. Can't do everything. This podcast has been such a labor of love. It's been so great. Final question. How do you celebrate your wins? I don't celebrate them enough. I think I barely ever really acknowledge them. So that's what I'm trying to do more of. That's what I'm doing today on this podcast. This is a win. A whole year. I'm going to cry again. A whole year of this podcast, something that I've wanted to do for so long. And even though, like I just said, it's not as regular as I want it to be, I'm still doing the damn thing. Let's celebrate that a little bit. Woo! Yay! Okay, guys, thank you so much. A whole year of this podcast. I can't wait for the next few episodes. I have them. I have the ideas for them. I'm going to be working on those, so they'll be coming out soon once Pride Month is over, because I still have a few more shows to get through. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this Q&GAY. There were about 48,000 other questions that I didn't have time to get to, but I hope you enjoyed the ones that I did get to. I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better, and it has been such a joy. I love you guys so much. You mean so much to me, okay? I feel like every single person on social media says that, but it's true. You guys are the reason for the season. You're the reason for me doing what I do. I'm going to get back to work. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, a beautiful night. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Make sure you follow me on all my social media because I'm censored on everything. So give this podcast a thumbs up, a good review, and I will see you in the next one. I love you so much. Have a great day. Happy 1 year anniversary to us. Okay, bye.